that was music from. Let me have a look. I forgot to. Guatemala. San Crastibor. No, I don't know even how to explain. San Cristobal Tutanicapan. What a odd name. I can't even pronounce it right, so excuse me, my friends. I can't even see what to say, how to say it, in which way I can do it. So today is another day. It's sunshine. It's really nice. So what is up? It's hard to say when you don't know, when you have no thoughts at all. Sometimes you just need to be in tune with yourself. Whatever it takes, it takes a man to be in tune with himself. You see, man, we are it's hard to explain. It's what man is. It's hard to explain. And coming to man, inhabil, I'm not the right one to explain how man is. Neither can I explain how women is. It's beyond me, and I once said that I think that the women came from outer space in order to rescue us in some way, rescue us men, because they pity us so much. And he was alone, it was said. Adam was alone. It was not good for him to be alone. So he needed someone to take care of him, and that has been the destiny of man. The destiny of man, that he is a lonely entity without his better half. It's kind of a half-half. And it was this separation from his own flesh and bones that made him aware that they were two. He really liked what he saw. And I think that is common for men, that they like what they see. It's anything that is nice, he is intrigued by. So I think the women judge that to be like there should be only one. There should be only one for him. That's me. And I'm not going into that dispute because I can't dispute it. It's how they feel, it's how they are. And I wonder how many times if the same is going for them. While we can be pushed to our limits, and they say, you are the only one. How come they are so nice and flirty with other men? I can't get that into my head. So I think that is a bogus argument of degree. If the women are so solely engaged in their men that they have no flirting agenda with others, I saw it in the best women. I saw it in the best women way back. That even though they were so attached or attached or dedicated, it's a good word for that, dedicated to their men, they were intrigued by other men. Not that they did anything wrong. It's not me that judge, but it is an observation. Even my mother, when she was hospitalized because of the stroke, she was able to speak, unlike my dad. He lost his capability to speak. He lost everything. So he saw it as something very... I think he was really loner. But my mother was cleansed by a man. She was taken care by a man. And she openly admitted, and I know my mother well, she was with my dad through thick and thin. Very dedicated, very non-flirting, no nothing at all. But deep inside, she exposed her feeling. She said something like, I get in love with this guy that is cleaning me, that is taking care of me. So I don't believe that if... I know my mother, and there was nothing there to prove to me that she was an easygoing lady. And she was, if something like that is important for you, she was highly regarded as a prayer woman. If that is something for you, go with that. She was dedicated. And obviously, that kind of word that you are the only one, it's just a bogus argument in order to filter out and torment and what to say, execute judgment on the man. That is a cold strike on the man, like execution. Some women, if you are listening to me, don't execute your men. Because deep inside I have seen among the nicest, most dedicated women to their men. My mother even said, I have to let my man decide. She is my man. He is my man, so I have to let him have the last word. She was that kind of dedicated, had this kind of dedication that nothing beat that. And she was, my father commented my mother in a way that you will never believe. She was the strongest. She was like a rock for him. So my father didn't have this I wouldn't expose my dad in a bad way, but he wasn't of the same character. He had a good character, of course. I don't want to say anything that wasn't true, but he at least didn't have that kind of character to him that my mother did. Still, she had her human thing to her. And we know if you want to be believed, don't act on your urges. That is, everybody, don't portray yourself as a Holy Maria, a glorious person that can't do anything wrong. It's just a lack of self-awareness. In that way, you become just a rude slaughterer of others, rude judges of others. It's not a defend. I don't want to sit here and defend something that is kind of obvious because people is the way they are, with their faults, with their what can I say, with their abilities to sin. Sin in this regard, if you are not a Christian, Jew or Muslim, you wouldn't understand the word sin. So I will try to explain it because I try to be coherent in any which way or form. To sin is when you sin against your brother or sister or wife or friend. You break their words and you break their spirit. That is a sin. If you sin against other people, in the deepest way, you sin against He who made them, He who wanted them, He who willed them. So sin in that regard is breaking their spirit, is breaking their personality. You make them to be something they are not and portray them in a bad way or judge them so wrongly that it put you into some kind of Madonna in the women's regard. Of course, we have the same ability, we men, like a bad way of excusing ourselves. But if the women think that the differences between the women and men are that they are more happy with the only one, I have seen deeper, my friend. I have seen deeper, and I've talked with women while they were in a relationship, as if they wanted out. As if they had had enough. They were talking very, in a very low kind of way. But should you judge that? If you have had enough, is that wrong to say? Is it wrong to say that you have had enough? I don't think so. It's just a statement of facts. So, judging like you are not the one at all, I think that is coming from a place where there is a lot of betrayal, lot of lies that is going on. That is my take on that. So if you don't know how naive I may be in your eyes, I think excusing yourself by blaming others is exactly those blames is all about yourself. Women, we are a lonely entity. We have nothing. So that's why the women came to earth, in order to rescue us. But here it goes, that the man love their urges so much that they can't come out of it. But women's urges is for their men. I think it's a slightly difference between the urges of a man, because he can relate to different entities, as his urges is operating in himself. So he needs to be a man in order to control that monkey. That kind of dehumanization of himself, that he is not anymore an animal, like the apes, like the monkeys, but he now have risen to some moral standard that even though his urges is there, he's alone because of his loneliness. His loneliness can't be understood by women. I think that giving him sex, giving him attention will help him. It helps, of course, but it doesn't solve the hunger. So the urges that men have should be solved by controlling what and how we do it, not by being fed by women. I think the women are there to be like an indicator for us, if that is possible, to control our way of acting, not control our urges per se, but control in which way we handle our urges. I think that is, it can be a slippery slope all the way, because there always it is that kind of urge. And a man that loses that urge will have a hard time defining himself. So understand this right. Don't let the man be demoralized. What can we say about that? In how don't think that you can manipulate your man into the degree that he doesn't recognize himself. That is no way to go. You have to let each other free in order to see where the heart is. Maybe I can write that down. So this, let each other free in order to see where the heart is. I think that is a good way. If you try to manipulate him, if you try to control him, blame him, and accuse him of looking at other women, yes, a honest man will say, yes, of course, I do it. I recognize the beauty, the way they look. Of course, there is no doubt to that. A honest man will say that. Of course. A blind man, a muted man, which you would not have in any which way. Be around your man with love, despite he is aware of other women. It's as long as he is with you. That is your confirmation. That is a beautiful confirmation. It's more than you can ask for. If this man of yours say, and you try to believe that, no, there is no other women, I'm not looking, it's just occasionally, that it's just random looks, or where do I have to put my eyes in order for you to accept that I don't look at the women? It's all very bogus-minded. So, honest man, if he looks at other women and decide to be with you, that is your confirmation, and that is a big confirmation. If he doesn't sleep around, if he doesn't expose himself for other women like he does for you, he undresses himself for you the way in which he does it. You should be so proud, you should be so blessed that the man, his heart is really where it should be. But if you accuse him for even looking at other women, you will lose him straight away. That is blackmailing. That is threats. And you wouldn't have threats in love. You should listen to this. I'm not only talking to the ladies, but mainly this time around. I felt the urge to do it because a man, by his pure being, is a lonely man. If you read the creation, you should read it even if you are a leftist, secularist, or atheist. You should read the creation and understand the psyche of a man. The man, Adam, he was a lonely man. He was a loner without Eve. It should be understood that he had his urges. He had his lonely being. So deep down, a man that is alone is a lonely man. Even if he is together with other people, he feels lonely. I can't explain it, but it is deep down. I'm not only talking about myself, it is a fact. We don't know who is there for us. If the ladies have decided to accuse her man, if the ladies have agreed to say, the hell with this man, he is a cheater, he is looking at other women, well, so be it. Go your way. Go find other men that fulfill that frame of yours. You will never find him, my friend. You will never find that man. He is a monkey in his own nature, but as long as he control himself because he is heart, after all, he is not a loner, he is a god. The man is some kind of a god entity. He has his own realm of reality. He have excluded himself in the deepest sound. It's God made man in his own image. So it is that kind of loneliness, that kind of way. How can God must have felt very lonely without us? That is the proof of that. So a lady that wants to live with a man, he will feel so frustrated, so bewildered. How in this earth, this is a miracle. Can you really live with me? I'm God of my own universe, and how can you come into my world and be that kind of a blessing? So it's all there, my friends. You have to decide how you look at each other, because it goes by both. If the man decides to stay with his wife, and a woman decides to stay with her man, it's a decision, as long as it is not by threats, it's by pure love. Threats and accusation and blaming starts when you have to cover up something. So this is the way. You will not get any admittance from those that blames. They have nothing to admit. There is nothing wrong with them, as long as they can get something to put on you. That's where it's going. So it goes way off line. So, my friends, don't be trustworthy to people that betray you, accuse you, slander you, and do exactly what they are blaming you for. So let each other free in order to see where the heart is. And where the heart is exactly where you are going to stay. That is the sound of love. That is the sound of love. Should pay much attention to that kind of sound. He's a lonely man. He's a lonely man. So it's I think that was a good word for today. It's I think awareness of those issues is much needed, because you have to sober up your own figment of your imagination, how it should be. Be honest, be truthful. When you try to be honest, you will be slain down. So honesty in some marriages or a relationship doesn't work. I have tried to be honest in some way with both friends and relationship. In some cases it doesn't really work, because the honesty is not for them. They will just stoop to blame, they will stoop to accusation, and stoop to doubts. So my friend, take it easy on each other. Be around each other with love. If you ask for honesty, be honest yourself. If you can open up and tell, I saw a lady today, she was so pretty, but you are in my heart. It's just confession. That is a good confession. Confessions should be received. Honesty should be received with grace. Have a good day. Be graced.